Here we go. Welcome back to the stream, everybody. How's it going? Oh, hold on. Let me see if this is too loud. Turn this down a little bit. Welcome back to the stream, everybody. How's it going? It's your boy Frosty. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. And if you're a returning subscriber or returning viewer, depending on whatever platform you're on, welcome back. Before we get things started, let me go ahead and grab the link to the stream and let everybody in Discord know that we are live. I completely forgot to do that. I knew there was one step I had forgotten to do, and it just happened right at this point. So let me go ahead and grab this link, and then we could actually get started with this. Oh, I can't believe I forgot that. Like, of all the steps, because this is what we usually do. Hold on. Hey there, everyone. We're live. Yep, there we go. Okay, now, Starburst and Kenneth, my man, welcome back to the stream, guys. How's it going? Hopefully y'all are having a really awesome day. What's going on? Yes, DK Rap. Yes, bonjour indeed, my guy. How's it going, guys? I wanted to really get into this conversation, honestly, because I've been kind of something about, I don't know, older games, especially 5th generation. I wanted to talk to you guys about and just bounce some really interesting conversations off of. I know that a lot of you guys weren't born during the 5th generation era, and for those of you that don't know what 5th generation video games are, they are the era of video games where we had the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, the Nintendo 64, and the Sega Saturn. And I know not too many people are too familiar with the Sega Saturn because it wasn't too successful over here. I know it's a real shame because they had some pretty good games for the Sega Saturn and all. But I wanted to, specifically talk about people's preferences between the original PlayStation and the Nintendo 64. And I think that, a lot of you guys have played Nintendo 64 games via the Nintendo Online, the emulators for Nintendo Online, and they gave us the options to have some of the Nintendo 64 games available for us to play. So I mean, even though I haven't played any of those yet, I have played some Nintendo 64 games growing up. I haven't played nearly as much as I did when as I have played original PlayStation games, and that's because I had gotten an PlayStation back in the late 1990s, but it was really amazing, man. I love both consoles so much, but I really wanted to be able to have more experience with the Nintendo 64, and I think I had gotten a Nintendo 64 in the early 2000s, and it was a really fun time. And I didn't have too many games for the Nintendo 64, probably 4 games, but I played a little bit more than 4 games and everything, and I just thought it was really amazing, the experiences on both consoles and everything. And I wanted to see what you guys thought, for those of us that grew up on it, and for those of you that played the Nintendo 64 emulator on the Nintendo 64 emulator on the, whether it be your PCs, your phones, or on the Nintendo Switch. So let's get into some of these comments before we get started. Oh, what's going on here? Honestly, this is a very difficult question. Both have so many great games, probably more than any other generation. Very true, Kenneth. Very true, my man. We really grew up in an era where we just had an explosion of really great and innovative innovative games, and it was full of creativity, so many great options for us to dive into and everything, and it was a really great time. It was definitely platform heavy. The platformer genre was just absolutely great. We had lots of really great racing games too. I didn't realize how many iconic racing games we had back in the day, up until a recent conversation with a friend. And I'm not going to really dive too deep into that because there are some things I we want to touch on and everything, but it was such a great time for video games, man. We had some pretty iconic some pretty iconic role-playing games coming too. Of course, you already know Final Fantasy VII being one of them, which was actually originally supposed to be on the Nintendo 64, but ended up being on the PlayStation instead because of the graphical capabilities of the original PlayStation, as well as the convenience of not having to have like 63 or 64 cartridges for the Nintendo 64 in order to be able to play the game in its entirety. Just 3 discs, and you were able to take advantage of the more advanced audio system of the original PlayStation. It was just absolutely crazy, man. It was crazy. But yeah, we're going to get a little bit into that, man. Let's see, this is the perfect time for a Just Chatting stream. It makes a good podcast for when I'm studying. Yo, that's great, man. I'm really glad that, you're enjoying it. I'm hopefully, I want to do more stuff like this, do more early morning type of chill streams like this and all that, which I've been telling you guys for quite some time now. This is the kind of thing I do want to do during the morning time when everybody's getting ready for school or like getting ready to go to work or something like that. So I'm really glad I don't need to study. Yo, that's crazy, man. I can't find right set for the Intellion. Definitely find yourself an Intellion, my man. Definitely get into that. I just noticed a flaw with my Among Us gameplay, but I'm not going to say anything. Yeah, we're going to probably, there's going to be a thunderstorm at 11 a.m. So if we are going to be playing, Among Us or something like that, we are going to be getting into ending the stream at in 54 minutes to play Among Us for 1 hour in the Discord server. If we're going to be doing Among Us today. Let's see, the Nintendo 64, we had Donkey Kong 64, Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Pokemon Stadium, and Pokemon Stadium 2, yes, and Mario Parties 1, 2, and 3, yes, absolutely, very great games and everything. And we also had Banjo-Kazooie on the Nintendo 64. We had Banjo-Tooie, which I never played Banjo-Tooie, but I have had experience with the first one. Oh, guys, let me know if the music's too loud, or if I need to, let me know if I need to turn it down or turn it up or something like that. But yeah, we had Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie. I forget the name of the that racing game. That what was the name of that racing game? It was something Rally. Something. Hold on. It was a Nintendo 64 game. Nintendo 64 Speed. Was it Speed Rally? Something like that. Or it was something. I forget what the heck it was, man. It was so good. Yo, what's for my man? Welcome back to the stream. How's it going? Hopefully you're having a really awesome game, my man. What's going on? Best racing games for the top 10 best racing games for the Nintendo 64. Have you listened to the new Oshi Ko OP yet? No, but I definitely got to do that. Send me that on Discord. So I can check it out, my man. What music? This is the Nintendo 64 Jungle Mix 1. Ryland Kirshanoff on YouTube. Definitely got to give it a try, man. This is like a really great drum and bass mix, and I just absolutely love it. Like you listen to this and I just chill to it. It's absolutely amazing. What was the name? Oh yeah, Wave Race 64. I played Wave Race Blue Storm on the Nintendo GameCube, but not the 64 version. It's not Ridge Racer, not this one. Oh yeah, I think I played Mario Kart 64 before, and it's honestly so good. Diddy Kong Race Excite Bike? Nah. This is. I forget the name of that game, but I'll let you guys know what it is whenever I find it. Like, it's so sad because it was so good. It was such a fun game, but it just felt so good, man. Like being able to just speed my way on through that video game. But man, we had a really great time. And even though I haven't had many games for the Nintendo 64, the experiences were absolutely amazing. Like the level design. Let's talk about Banjo-Kazooie. I think like that was probably my first introduction to what an open world game was back in the day. Because like back in the day, we did not have that many like quote unquote open world or open zone games. And for that time, it just seemed like the whole world was endless. The Donkey Kong 64 as well. Donkey Kong 64 was another one that was a really great example of, you being able to roam and explore lands and everything. And even though you did have some boundaries and collisions and all, it felt really great to be able to have this endless place to roam around in. I really enjoyed not having any limits. Like, it virtually felt like you had no limits or anything like that. And the Nintendo 64 definitely had games that were like that. I think there might have been some of the games like that on the original PlayStation, but more so I can think of, even with my limited roster of games that I've played on the Nintendo 64, I can definitely say that it felt like the Nintendo 64 won when it came to games that had open areas, like open world capabilities and all that stuff. And that's something I really appreciated about it. It just felt so free and open with its platforming games and all. It was, oh my gosh, the roster. But I'm also going to be talking about the original PlayStation as well, because the original PlayStation had a really great catalog, and I played more games for that. And that's partly due to the fact that, they also had demos. Like, if any of you guys knew about the original, like, back in the day, they had the video game magazines and everything, and I think they still have some, obviously they still have video game magazines, but they had PlayStation Underground and PlayStation Jam Pack, the PlayStation magazines and everything. And with those magazines, they would send demo discs. This is back before the time where you could download stuff to your console. You had to go to the store or wherever, the mall or something like that, video game stores, and buy yourself a magazine, or buy your games and everything, but buy the magazines so you can have access to some of the newest releases of video games. And man, when I tell you that time period was something else, oh my gosh, being able to have access to like certain demos, certain levels and all that stuff to kind of try out before you can, get the games released in your area. It had you so excited to be able to have like a whole catalog of games like available to you. Oh my gosh, there's so many games I played that I haven't had full experiences with, but I played those demos so relentlessly, like endlessly, back to stinking back, man. And when I tell you, I just absolutely loved it. It was crazy to me. It was just absolutely crazy. Oh my gosh. Some of the games that I enjoyed the most for the PlayStation, I've never owned fully, which is crazy to say, but yeah, and it made me want to go back when I gotten older and go to like retro gaming stores and be able to purchase those games, which I ended up doing with some of them. And I found some games that I had lost, or we had lost while moving before, or probably damaged. And when I tell you, it just really brightened my day, it just really lightened up my soul the moment I had found them in retro gaming stores. It just felt amazing, man. It just felt so great. Let's see, not much. Going to watch Oshinoko Kai later. What is that show? Like, I'm seeing that this is a pretty popular show amongst you guys. See, it's living in my head rent free right now. See, I got it. I definitely got to check it out if y'all say it's a good one, because I know y'all have some pretty good recommendations for anime OPs. See, Frosty, I will do a watch party for Clone Wars, so try. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, we definitely got to do that one day. See, what type of game was it? Are you talking about the racing game, Wistful? Have you played Undertale yet? Not yet, but I'm definitely going to play Undertale and Deltarune for you guys. I'm definitely going to get it for the Nintendo Switch and then play it for you guys for sure, because I know you guys really like that. If you're talking about if you're talking about that racing game that I was talking about earlier, Wistful, yeah, it was something. I don't know what in the world it was. I forget the name of it. Hold on. Nintendo 6. Oh wow, I already had like Nintendo 64 up there. Yo, Giga Gamer, welcome back to the stream, my man. How's it going? Nice to see you again. Hopefully you've been doing well. What's going on? It's been a while. What you been getting into lately, dude? Let's see, Nintendo 64 racing games. I know for a fact it had something rally in it. Want to VC? Not for this stream, but we are going to be VCing. I think for the upcoming one. I think the upcoming one is on Friday. Because whichever day I said I was going to do Super Mario 3D World, that's the one we're going to be doing a VC on. Nah, it's not Ridge Racer. It's something rally. Something rally. I don't know what it is. show us your search history. Nah, I mean, it's not crazy or anything like that. It's mostly like YouTube and Bing searches, which I know a lot of you guys are like, ugh, Bing? What in the world? Let's see, it's now the best rated anime on my anime list after episode 1. Oh, dang, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check that out. The title definitely sounds familiar. But yeah, it's just some... I don't know where in the world it is, but I can say that it was a really great... what do you call it? It is definitely a really great experience, and I'm definitely going to try to like play some of those games for you guys whenever we get into it. But I wanted to know what games you guys think, which console, for those of you that grew up on the, you know, during that era, the early 90s, the mid 90s, the late 90s, that have had exposure to this, or the late 1980s or early 80s or whatever the heck, or mid 80s or whatever, whenever, you know, we were like growing up or whatever. What game console do you guys feel had the best video games? Like, which one do you think wins between the original PlayStation and the Nintendo 64? Because honestly, it's such a hard answer to have to give. I could say, from my personal experience, because like they both have given such amazing catalogs of video games, and some of the games I have played for the Nintendo 64 and original PlayStation 2, I've gotten exposure to via emulators. But if we're talking about the number of catalogs that I've had and the amount of games that I've played more, it would have to probably be the original PlayStation. And I'm not downing or trashing the Nintendo 64 at all by any means. The reason I probably say the original PlayStation is just solely based on the like the number of games, like its catalog that I've been exposed to, and also the amount of games I've owned. Like, I've had a little bit more experience with the original PlayStation than the Nintendo 64, but I do love the Nintendo 64 so insanely. It was such a time, and I can definitely rattle off a whole big, like a much bigger list of the original PlayStation than I can the Nintendo 64, because like I said, I didn't really own that many games for the Nintendo 64, and I haven't had that much of an experience outside of the games I've played. But I can say the games that I have played on the Nintendo 64 have had such a lasting impression on me. The games that I played are absolutely legendary and have been the most popular games for the Nintendo 64. So when it comes to impact, it definitely has left its memorable impressions and everything. And I'd say it's on par for me with the original PlayStation, but if I had to choose, only because of the catalog and everything, and the deeper exposure to original PlayStation games I've had via experience and all, I definitely have to say the original PlayStation. Like, if it were to come up in conversation, which games, like which console had more games to it, it would definitely have to be the original PlayStation. Well, more popular games, that is, more popular games. Let's see, pretty sure it's from Love is War author. Oh, yeah, definitely got to check it out then. See, been trying to catch up on housework, yard work, and paperwork. Oh, I totally understand you, man. Please knock all that out, definitely. Nintendo 64. Okay. So we have 2 votes for the Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64, just because it has so many amazing games compared to only about 10 on the 64. What do you mean compared to 10 on the 64? Do you mean like 10 games? Or you see, Nintendo 64, just because it has so many amazing games compared to only about 10 on the Nintendo 64? Or did you mean 10 on the original PlayStation in comparison? I actually didn't have the original PlayStation. Really? If I had the time, I'd definitely investigate the games. Yeah, same here with the, I do the same thing with the Nintendo 64, honestly. Because both of them, like, both of those consoles are just absolutely amazing. They're just purely wonderful game consoles and everything. I meant PlayStation. Yeah. Also, you have played some original PlayStation games, Wistful. Which ones have you played? Like, honestly, I would definitely say we have to open up our experiences, like open up our minds for both platforms, because honestly, they're amazing, dude. When I tell you, they're just, oh my gosh, they're so good. They are so good. Oh, okay, you were saying your votes for the original PlayStation. Really? Okay. So that's actually pretty cool. Yeah, which games do you play? Because like I said, I haven't had to like, when it comes to, like, I have had a deep what do you call it? I have had a deep history with the Nintendo 64. I'm not saying I haven't had a deep history with the Nintendo 64. I'm saying in terms of catalog of games, I haven't had that much exposure. But I've had more exposure to the original PlayStation games, and during that time, it was crazy. It was crazy, especially due to the fact that, like I said, we had demos and stuff like that. Big shout out to my uncles for, you know, getting those demos and everything, because they had a whole collection, this little black case of PlayStation magazine demos, and they had, oh my gosh, they had PlayStation jam-packed demos, and it was, so many promotional demos and everything. And that, like, the games, even though I have never, like I said earlier, even though I have never played some of these games in full, they were just absolutely amazing to dive into and just play over and over again. And back then, the replayability value of these video games were just absolutely amazing. Let's see, I was going to say that the games on the original PlayStation that I wanted to try, like Dynasty Warriors 1, 2, and 3. Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, I never played the Dynasty Warriors video games on the original PlayStation, but I have had exposure to that on the Xbox 360 and PS3 era. One of my friends, I think it was like, I forget which Dynasty Warriors games they were, but the Dynasty Warriors video games are fun. The hack and slash genres, they are absolutely amazing. And I think I've seen people play other games on it before. Yeah, they're just absolutely amazing. And I just love, you know, the original PlayStation is just absolutely a great console. They had so many great games for it. See, I played Final Fantasy VII, Soul Blade, etc. Oh yes. See, even though I haven't had any what do you call it? I have not played Soul Blade before. I've heard some really great things about it. And Final Fantasy VII, of course, you know, it's definitely one of the most iconic video games ever. And like I said earlier, it was going to be on the original. I mean, not the original PlayStation. I'm sorry. It was going to be on the Nintendo 64, but you know, it would have taken a little bit too much, like in terms of the cartridges and everything, just way too many cartridges for people to be able to keep up with. And it was a lot more convenient to keep up with the discs, the CDs of the original PlayStation, and they were able to kind of take it a little bit further with their the PlayStation's what do you call it? They were able to take it a little bit further with the PlayStation's technology in terms of like its audio capabilities as well. And the really interesting thing as well is that one thing that I noticed between games that were ported between the original PlayStation and the Nintendo 64, at least for the games that I'd seen, is that it seemed like the Nintendo 64 had graphically more, like a graphic. I think the Nintendo 64 was a graphically more powerful system, probably because of the textures and everything. Like the original PlayStation, the textures on that, like the designs and everything, it didn't seem like it could really hold too many. Like it didn't seem like it could hold up too much. But when it came to the Nintendo 64, like let's say the textures between Mega Man Legends on the original PlayStation and the Nintendo 64, it looked better on the 64 than it did the original PlayStation. And the original PlayStation had more of a pixelated look, while it looked a little bit more smoother on the Nintendo 64. But like, I mean, me personally, I love that pixelated look. It has that nice little vintage feel to it, that classic video game feel that I honestly believe it just has a nice little charm to it. But I did enjoy both of the looks, but I can definitely say that based on like the graphical capabilities, I think the Nintendo 64 probably had it over the original PlayStation. Show us your search history. There's nothing really, you know, there. Just like mostly YouTube videos and stuff like that. That and like it's mostly tutorials. There's nothing, you know, interesting or anything like that for you guys. So if you want to VC, you could VCB. I'm not going to do a VC for this stream, but I'm definitely going to try to think of you know, VC, like a stream like this where we can do voice call and, you know, kind of go back and forth a little bit in future ones. See, I played Dynasty Warriors 2 on the PlayStation 2, but I always wanted to see what the originals were like. Yeah, like always going back to the originals are it's a good idea, because like you get a better feel for like the story, its origins, and see how, you know, everything played originally, you know? Like I personally I like that experience. But like I said, like the catalog of games were just amazing. Like the games I played for the Nintendo 64 are Donkey Kong 64. I briefly played Super Mario 64, and that was a time. That was a really fun game. Both of those games are fun, just absolutely amazing. Banjo-Kazooie, NBA Hang Time, WWE No Mercy, or no, it was WWF. At the time, it was WWF or WCF No Mercy. And that something rally, I don't know if it's called Speed Rally. I don't know what in the world the name of that racing game is, but it is something rally. And oh my gosh, like that was like one of the funnest little racing games you could play during the time. But I think one of my favorite games, like it was so hard for me to call. Oh, I think I also played 007 GoldenEye. Yeah, I think I played 007 GoldenEye before, and that was at somebody else's house. But the only games I've owned for the Nintendo 64 were Donkey Kong 64, Banjo-Kazooie, that Speed Rally game, whatever the name of that was, and NBA Hang Time. And those games are fun. Oh yeah, the Madden NFL 98 or 99 I played on the Nintendo 64, and that was because of one of my uncles. And everything, like most of the other games I played were cousins, uncles, or some friends that, you know, I've visited before to play those games with. But when it comes to the original PlayStation, I could just shoot off a whole list. I could shoot off a whole list of video games that I've played. Oh my gosh, where do I even begin? Let's see, Donkey Kong 64 was a game I really loved but couldn't beat. Yeah, it was such, oh my gosh, the level design, like I said, me personally, I love the level design and everything. A lot of people hated the fact that you had to go back to collect certain colored bananas and coins and all with certain characters. Which, I mean, I can admit that sometimes it did get a little annoying, because you're kind of like, oh man, like I had made it so far and I don't remember where to go with this character, but it was still fun to me. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to like keep a, like I honestly, my family and I had to like write down, we had to write down information on directions on where to go, and had to remember big markers for us to remember what characters had to travel which paths in order to get certain colored bananas and coins and everything. And it was frustrating sometimes, but it was also really good, because like I'm telling you, it was that big of a game. Like during that time, that was pretty big for level design. Like that and Banjo-Kazooie, we just had so much area to roam around in. It was such an amazing time. They did a really great job with their level design back then, with the limited technology that they had. It was top tier in my opinion. It was also a really long game. It was a really long game, especially with like 5 characters. You had to kind of spread, like those 5 characters you had to spread all those collectibles with in the missions and everything, and getting to certain areas and accomplishing certain tasks with certain missions. I think they did a really great job in its design, and I think it was a much better game than many people remember it. So, it's so iconic for many different reasons for me, and it far exceeds just the iconic DK rap intro. It's still something I rap along to when I'm around family, because we had such an amazing time with that. I'm telling you, it was so great. And then, man, I'm telling you, for the original PlayStation, like I said, we had so many games. Oh my gosh, where do I even begin? So the only Final Fantasy game back then that I was exposed to was, speaking of Donkey Kong, oh wait, no, this is Dr. Mario 64. The only Final Fantasy game that I had exposure to growing up because my uncles only owned one of them, or probably two of them. I think they probably owned Final Fantasy 9. I can't remember if they owned 9 or not. And I know they played 7, but I'd never seen them own 7 or play 7 before. But I know for a fact that they have Final Fantasy 8, and that was one that stayed with me for so many years because I absolutely loved, you know, being able to sit down and watch them play it, and you know, the unique game system, the iconic music, the really cool characters, being able to, you know, explore a somewhat open world with that as well. Like, I really liked how the games going around from 64 themes and all. I mean, of course, it is a 64 soundtrack, but yes, we had like so many great areas to explore, and the monsters were really intimidating. And the music was absolutely amazing. The whole experience, being able to sit down and watch them play those games was just absolutely amazing. I absolutely love Final Fantasy VIII, and it's definitely one of my favorite Final Fantasy games to play. Even though I haven't played too many of the Final Fantasy games, I can definitely say that it's a really good one. It is amazing. Yo, 8-Bit, my man, welcome back to the stream. How's it going? Hopefully having a really awesome day, my man. What's going on? Let's see. But a great and legendary game. Yes, definitely, for sure. Donkey Kong 64 definitely lived up to that. Living large back then. Exactly. Yes, I remember. I recognized the DK rap in Smash Bros. Really. Yes. Oh my gosh. I got so hyped when I heard the DK rap in that one. It got me excited. I played Donkey Kong stages relentlessly because of it. But there was, let's see, we had Final Fantasy VIII on the original PlayStation, Ape Escape, which is honestly, the original Ape Escape is one of the greatest platforming games of all time. Like, I haven't played the second one. I've always wanted to play the second one, and the third one I played, and I do love the third one. The third one's really fun, but I have not had an experience that was as amazing as the original Ape Escape when it came to like a well, I can't say, well, let me not say that, because like there have been actually really great experiences in terms of platforming games on the original PlayStation. When I tell you, the original PlayStation had some platformers, okay? Outside of the obvious Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon video games, oh my gosh. Let's just get into that. We had Crash Bandicoot. We had three Crash Bandicoot games that were main line platforming games. Spyro the Dragon video games, okay, 3 of them. We had Ape Escape, the original one. I had never played Gex the Gecko, but that one looked fun. That one looked really fun, and I think they had either 2 or 3 Gex video games. What was the other platforming game they had? I just had it in my head. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot, because like this was, I believe this is one that I played before. What was the name of that platformer? Oh my gosh. I played a demo of this one. This was a demo. I think it was called not Daredevil, Devil something. Jersey Devil. And even though I can't get with the idea of playing with a demon, playing as a demon, it was like that game was pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I played the demo of it when I was a little kid, and it was a pretty fun game to play. I'm not gonna lie. But we had like some legendary ones. Oh my gosh. You know, I think most of the, I like, it's so sad that I can't even remember the name of that. What was it? I can't remember the name of the platforming game for the original PlayStation that I played. That was like really fun, but it was great. Oh yeah, we had 102 Dalmatians. Something to the, I think Spot to the Rescue. It's not Spot to the Rescue, but that one was really good, and I played that as a demo, like as a demo game. And when I tell you, just completely played over and over and over and over and over again. Oh my gosh, like that's how good those games were back in the day. Like, I'm telling you, man. And then we had, of course, like some spin-off games of those series, like Crash Team Racing, which I played once. And Crash Team Racing was a really great game. I wish they would have gone a little bit further with some of the Crash Bandicoot racing games. But there wasn't really much you could do outside of, you know, the kind of Mario Kart-esque gameplay. So I get it. There's that. And then Crash Bash, which was a really great party game, which was sort of like the Crash Bandicoot answer to the Mario Party video games, just absolutely fun. Like, they had so many different kinds of games, like mini games you could play. And when I tell you, going back through the mental memory lane and everything, oh my gosh, like the mental journey through looking back on those games, they were just, oh my gosh, they were so fun, man. See, nothing much. I just finished a 3-hour Crunker stream on Twitch. Yo, nice, dude. How'd that go? How was the stream? Applesauce? Wait, what about Applesauce? Giga Gamer? Devil May Cry? No, because Devil May Cry was a game that started on what do you call it? Devil May Cry was a game that came out on the PlayStation 2. Jersey Devil was, let me see, original PlayStation. So this, I don't want to like get into too much of it, because like, let's see, there's the intro, there's the commercial for it back then. OST, I'm not looking for the OST, I'm looking for like a very short, yeah, like I said, I'm not with the whole demon thing, so. Blue Tag Entertainment, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and mute the audio. See, do we have the gameplay? Something. All right, so here's some of the gameplay. I'm gonna skip. Yeah, see, like it's like a Halloween kind of themed platformer, and it looked really fun. Like the little mechanics of it were really fun. Of course, you had like basic platformer type of gameplay and all, but you know, going like being able to like float down, glide from platform to platform. It was pretty cool, like in my opinion. It was really fun. And I don't remember going to like all of these areas. Like I said, it was a very, oh wait, dang. Well, let me bring back the music. I hate when that happens. Recently closed tabs. Here we go. Just completely nuked the the stream music, and we're starting all the way over, but that's all right. Starting all the way over with the hold on, I know that. All right, we made it past character select on Super Smash Brothers, but yeah, that was a pretty crazy time. What was it? Let me see. Nintendo 64 racing games. Hopefully I could find what I'm looking for. Sure, it's just search history. I mean, you kind of saw some of it. You kind of saw some of it. Rally. Top Gear. Yeah, Top Gear Rally 2. Top Gear. Like, I just forget which one specifically it was. Yeah, it was Top Gear. That was what it was. Yeah. Not Rally 2 specifically, but Top Gear was a good one. Is that Big the Cat? Nah. Yo, not gonna lie. That did kind of look like a slimmed down version of Big. That is crazy, man. That is absolutely crazy. I never looked at it like that. Oh, you know what was really good? Oh, yo, Comey, my man. Welcome back to the stream. How's it going? Nice to see you again. Hopefully you're having a really awesome day. My man, what's going on? Yo, Comey, my man. Welcome back to the stream. Yo, you really went with that one. What have you been getting into it? Yeah. Yo, how have you been, dude? Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. I absolutely, like, the catalogs are just really awesome. Like, what was it? I know I was about to get into the original PlayStation games and all. The original Spider-Man was a good one. Oh my gosh, when I tell you, as an action-adventure game for the original PlayStation, I still, even though I haven't played that many Spider-Man games, I probably, like, in full played 2. Like, I've beaten 2 Spider-Man games, and I played, like, a few others. I could definitely say the original Spider-Man is hands down one of the best Spider-Man games ever. I've seen people play Amazing Spider-Man video games. I've seen them play the Tom Holland based Spider-Man video games. I've seen people play the Miles Morales Spider-Man video games. Those all look really fun. Those absolutely look cool. And I've seen the PlayStation 2 ones based on the movies. All of them look fun. I have to say though, no one's beaten Ultimate Spider-Man for the GameCube, PlayStation 2, and the original Xbox, and no one's touching no other Spider-Man game is also touching, what do you call it? No other Spider-Man games touching the original one for the PlayStation. The original one for the original PlayStation. I absolutely cannot tell you how amazing that experience was. We had that. We had so many great, what do you call it? Fighting games. Oh my gosh. Like the original PlayStation, to me, the original PlayStation was the Renaissance era of fighting games. If you were deep into fighting games, you would have definitely loved growing up during the PlayStation era, because they had so many iconic titles come out, and even some short-lived titles that came out. You know, they absolutely shined through. You know, they had what was it? They had the Tekken video games. Okay, a lot of you guys are excited for Tekken 8 coming out. They had the Tekken video games. They had the Battle Arena Toshinden video games, which honestly that should have carried over a lot longer than it did. They had the Soul Calibur video games starting off with Soul Blade. Even though like the original PlayStation didn't have the Soul Calibur video games, it started out with Soul Blade. And I'm not going to touch too much on that for a certain reason. But the only reason why I brought up Soul Blade is because Wistful brought up Soul Blade, and you know it just warms my heart to know that, you know, the younger generation has exposure to a lot of the video games that I grew up on, and we had so many great ones. There was also some of the Dragon Ball Z video games that came out on the original PlayStation that were really fun. That was a really great one. We had Bloody Roar, which was, the Bloody Roar video games had a very unique little gimmick to it, had a very unique little mechanic, and I honestly love the Bloody Roar video games. Just stuck with me a lot. We had the Marvel vs. Capcom video games start out on the original PlayStation, and that was fun. Oh my gosh. And also, you know, the Dreamcast, but the Dreamcast was a part of the generation that came after the 5th generation, so you know, I'm not going to really count too much of that, but we had that start on the original PlayStation, and that was a really great time, and being able to be exposed to those video games and everything were just absolutely amazing. I just love it. Oh, I've been all right. Yo, I'm so glad to hear you've been all right, Kobe, my man. Yo, what you been getting into this morning? Well, I mean, other than waking up, because I know it's like pretty early and everything. It's pretty early. See, the original PlayStation Spider-Man games were amazing. Yes. Oh my gosh, I want to tell you, like I've only played the original PlayStation one, like the first one. I heard Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro was even better than the first one, and I wanted to play that one, but I never had the I never had it. So I only have been able to, well, you know what? I could have gotten the emulator. I don't know why I didn't think to do that. But I can say, like, the original one that I played has such a strong hold on me, man. Oh my, I'm telling you. Best console generation? Ooh, Wistful. Oh man, that's a hard one, because like, see, for me, I grew up on the on the 4th generation. I was born during the 4th generation of gaming, which is so weird to say, because like I'm an older, like I'm getting old, man. I mean, I'm not one of those people that thinks like 20s and 30s is old, but it makes me feel old because we are in the 9th generation of game consoles right now. We are in the 9th generation of gaming, and I grew up, like, I was born during the 4th generation. That's a crazy. No, yeah, I was born during the 4th generation. That's crazy to think about, because like I was born during the Super Nintendo era and the Sega Genesis era. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that one, but yeah, if y'all got that reference, y'all got it. But yeah, I grew up during the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis era, and I had a little bit more exposure to the Super Nintendo than the Sega Genesis, but I loved playing both of them. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, those were some times. And I think the furthest back that I've ever played organically was the 3rd generation, because I've had exposure to the original Nintendo, and I played some Atari games, so like I went a little bit further back, but I don't think it was like an actual Atari console, but it had Atari games and it looked like an actual Atari, so I count it as Atari. But my exposure like to video games at first was the 4th generation, because I grew up in the 4th generation of consoles, so that there was that. But you know, I grew up in the 4th generation and then led into the 5th generation, and I can tell you it was a really great transition. Oh my gosh, it was so amazing. There were so many cool fighting games back then. Yes, like the Evangelion fighting game. See, I never knew that they had a Neon Genesis Evangelion video game. The 3 fighting games, Soul Calibur. Yeah, Soul Calibur was more so on the Dreamcast, but I can say that it was definitely it was definitely an iconic series nonetheless. We could technically count it because, like I said, Soul Blade was on the original PlayStation. I still just don't have money for new games, so I play on the PlayStation 3 I had when I was 5. Yeah, same here sometimes. Yeah, it's always good to like go back and play on the older consoles that you have. That's what I do a lot as well, like whenever I have the time. Like I do play my modern games and all, but it's just, it feels so good to like be able to go back and play games that you grew up on. It's just absolutely amazing. Soul Calibur 4 was one of my first, actually. Really, I like the 7th generation, like the Nintendo Wii, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3 were all just phenomenal consoles. They really are. The 7th generation was just the beginning of gaming as we have it today. And honestly, they had that, like, that was, I think, one of the last greatest releases. Not saying that, you know, 8th and 9th are not good, because like they were definitely good. I think that like in some ways some of the creativity started to kind of fluctuate, but it was really great at this. Like I have so much love for the 7th generation, but also kind of like a little resentment for what somewhat for what networking has done. But I love that we cultivated so many relationships because of the 7th generation when it comes to like you know, online play and getting to meet people across the world and all, because it definitely has helped some people to make some friends. See, while I was born in the middle of the Nintendo 64 era, I was too young and didn't really get into gaming until the GameCube era. Oh, still very good, Comey. Still very good era. Yeah, you were born during the 5th generation of games, and you started to really get into it on the 6th generation. I'm telling you, man, it's a crazy time. Although my first system was a Super Nintendo Entertainment System that my dad owned. Yes. Oh my gosh, Super Nintendo was absolutely amazing. Honestly, there weren't too many flagship video games for the 4th generation video games, or like the 4th generation back, because when it came to video games and all, they weren't really looking for flagship titles. They just kind of started getting them around that time. And I honestly think because the mascots really represented them. Well, I can't really say that because, you know, the original Nintendo had the Super Mario Brothers, and like it started out with Donkey Kong. Yeah, it started out with Donkey Kong for the arcade, and I think it was probably on the original Nintendo, and Mario became like the mascot for Nintendo. So it actually, like, mascots started coming out for what do you call it, the original Nintendo, but we had some competition come the 4th generation, which was Sonic for Sega. And so we had Mario versus Sonic for a very long time before the Olympic Games back in 2008, I believe the Olympic Games came out in, or 2009 or something like that. But that's where that whole thing started. And, you know, we just had so much innovation and like some really great friendly rivalry going back and forth between Mario and Sonic. And then, of course, when PlayStation entered the scene, they had for a platformer mascot, Crash Bandicoot, which honestly I kind of equate like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, because like they were kind of fighting themselves with that one. It's like who could take it between Crash and Spyro? And I think Crash ended up being the one that was just a little bit more popular than Spyro, in order to like be the face of platforming games for the original PlayStation. And I just think that, you know, when they entered in, it just made everything a little bit more interesting. And that's what I love about the world of platforming games. Like, they're so fundamentally fun, they're the same and everything, but they just, oh my gosh, they were still you know, unique and fun and great in every imaginable way. They had so many things that were different, like so many things that were similar between them, but the little differences really brought them out and really showed their uniqueness and their beauty, and I just absolutely love it. You see, the first game I ever played was Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo. Yes, Donkey Kong Country is definitely one of the greatest platforming games of all time, in my opinion. Absolutely amazing. First Mario game I played was Super Mario World. Yes, definitely still to date one of my favorite Mario games of all time. I think honestly Super Mario World is definitely one of the greatest Mario video games of all time. One of the greatest platformers, in my opinion, if you want the honest truth. Like, it is just an amazing game, and the replay. Oh my gosh, that's one of many games that will never get old. And a lot of people tell me, when I say that the Super Nintendo is one of the greatest consoles of all time, they're like, "Oh, come on!" You're like, I mean, you're saying that, but what other game, like besides Super Nintendo? I mean, besides Super Mario World, what game was super popular that was like, Super Nintendo was like one of the greatest games of all time? And I was like, I mean, they really didn't focus too much on having flagship titles. It just happened organically, like I said earlier, with the original Nintendo with the Mario games, and Mario became the face. So that was an unintentional thing. Not saying that they didn't want Mario to be super popular, but Mario was popular, and they kept, the innovation going, and they were, like, really pushing forth and investing so much love and energy and time and creativity and patience and so many brilliant minds and ideas with the Super Mario series, and it started to really show, and the love from the fan base just really began to pour in some more, and you just really got a really great feel for how much they just love that series. And we loved the series growing up, and we just, oh my gosh, like it started to really go from the arcade style video games to actual worlds being created, actual stories being created, the creativity just kind of going on a whole new different level, because during the 4th generation and back, they were really just arcade games being available to you in your living room for your families and everything, for your families to play. And the more you got into like the 4th generation, a little bit more leading into the 5th generation, game consoles started to make a transition from arcade style to what we know it as today, which we have like more competitive games. We have more, but it wasn't even so much competitive back then. We just had more creative games in terms of storytelling, and it was just, that's when we started to really open the door to story-based games and stuff with like actual, objectives, missions, and the stories and the world and the atmosphere just really provided us more incentive to get deeper into it. So we just didn't just experience, like, we didn't play video games just for the sole purpose of, beating the game. We actually wanted to experience the game and experience the worlds, and that's what made it even more interesting. So, the 4th generation, we didn't really look too much into it in terms of flagship titles, but it started happening a little bit more with the 5th generation. Yo, Jade Steppo, welcome back to the stream, dude. How's it going? Nice to see you again. It's been a while. Hopefully you've been doing well. What's going on? I'm doing well as well. Thank you so much for asking how I'm doing. I'm having a great time talking about some of the classic video games and everything. It's just absolutely been an amazing time. And wanted to know what consoles, if you grew up on PlayStation, original PlayStation or Nintendo 64 games, which one did you think was better of a console between the original PlayStation and the Nintendo 64? See, Xbox hasn't really done much since the 360, to be honest. Very true, Wistful. Very true, my man. The only consoles doing anything new now are lacking basic features. As much as I love the Nintendo Switch, it could be so much better if Nintendo tried a little harder and riskier. Really? So, in what ways do you think that? Because, like, I do, like, when it comes to, like, main video games, like, AAA video games, there aren't that many. And some of them, it's beginning to get to the point to where more of them are being ported over from previous generations. So I can definitely see what you mean if you're coming from that angle. I can definitely understand what you mean from that. I'm pretty sure Spyro is more popular for Skylanders now than its own games, which is really sad because, like, I'm not going to trash Skylanders, but Skylanders has been, like, the #1 thing carrying over the Spyro video games, and I don't have that relationship with Skylanders. It has not been my thing. I can say, however, that I really do love and enjoy and appreciate the original Spyro video games. And, the whole Dark Knight era of Spyro was really interesting. Like, I like that one, too. Like, that was a really good one. Ironically, my very first game was Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Nintendo Wii. Really? Yo, that's pretty crazy because like my brother has that one too, and he has I think the Frozen Island or Frost remix, something whatever it was called. And that one, like, it looked like it was a lot of fun. He really enjoyed the heck out of those games. Earthbound was pretty popular. Earthbound was one of those cult video games, like cult classics, and I did not know that Earthbound even existed until Super Smash Bros. Melee, which I can honestly appreciate Masahiro Sakurai for giving us a look into some of Nintendo's history with video games because of, Super Smash Bros. And everything, because, he gave us so many different games to dive into with those trophies and the characters and being able to see how cool the characters' abilities were. It was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. It made me want to play more games that I had not had any exposure to, and I just absolutely loved it. See, the Super Nintendo introduced me to Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Donkey Kong, etc. Yes. Which ended up bringing us into the 5th generation with some of those popular games being expanded on even more. And, them going further and bigger. And then, of course, starting the origin of Super Smash Brothers with the original Super Smash Brothers video game. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, the way they just, like, kind of brought it all centerfold and brought it all together just really made it tightly knit and well, even into its influence today. It's just been absolutely amazing to see. And those video games are still getting really great releases. And even Donkey Kong, from like time to time we'll have a new Donkey Kong game coming out, but it's more so like Donkey Kong being the grandfather or the uncle to Mario, or the father or mother to Mario. Is kind of like, all right, yeah, let's bring you in these Mario video games. You started us out. We got to get you in the family, my man. It's like, yeah, Donkey Kong still, carries on to this day, even though we don't get Donkey Kong video games like that that often. We still get to see Donkey Kong make it through because of Mario, and that's because of Mario's start on Donkey Kong. So it's really great to see all of those video games still live on strongly. And we see a lot of that in the 5th generation as well. And oh my gosh, like so many iconic things, man. They were so iconic. See, they targeted a general audience with the Switch rather than a more gamer audience. Oh, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. The Switch would be such a better console if they made some things like dock letting the Switch run 4K. That kind of depends on the technology, like that. And yeah, I don't think the Nintendo Switch could really support 4K technology on its own, unless, of course, you said like the docking, they probably invest a little bit more. They could also add themes, customization, really make the Switch feel more like a second home than a console. I'm not mad at that. The Steam Deck is more like my ideal Switch. Just add some more Nintendo flair to it. Yeah, especially if you could open up some modding, because I know that they are not against modding when it comes to Steam and all that stuff. If you can do like emulation and all, that definitely make it even better, which I think you can do with RetroArch. So yeah, you could definitely do some Nintendo games with RetroArch. Let's see, want to end stream in 5 minutes and play Among Us, so then there is no storm interrupting us. We could definitely do that. I'm probably going to push it a little bit further and like go to the like a minute and a half mark, and then do Among Us for like 30 minutes. And kind of like chill a little bit more here and stuff. But yeah, we could definitely do Among Us for like 30 minutes and all. But we just had an amazing time. And I honestly think like between the original PlayStation and then the Nintendo 64, because I have such bigger list and bigger memory of the PlayStation games in terms of quantity. And to my knowledge, the original PlayStation having more popular titles. Not saying that they're more popular than the most popular Nintendo 64 games. I'm talking about in terms of the quantity of memorable games that you have. I think the PlayStation probably takes that one in that department. But in terms of impact, the games themselves and all, that's kind of a hard one. Because, man, like I said, Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back, Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon, Ape Escape, which I think it might be more niche, a little bit more of a what do you call it, a more cult classic kind of thing. And I'm probably just speaking from bias because that one's a really good one. Oh my gosh. That one is such an amazing game. Oh my gosh. Like, it's so sad that Ape Escape kind of just ended. But I mean, they kind of had some, I think with Ape Escape, they had so many changes here and there that it just never really lasted too long, you know? Like, they started getting more into the spin-offs, and the spin-offs just didn't really carry it that far. If I could afford a Steam Deck, I would emulate some stuff, some Switch stuff. I'm not sure if they do have the capability to emulate the Switch, but if they did, I could definitely see there being, like, some lawsuits with Nintendo, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want that at all. Yo, Kenneth, my man, welcome back to the stream. How's it going? Hopefully you're having a really awesome day, my man. What's going on? Yo, I never played Crash Bandicoot. What? You never played any of the Crash Bandicoot video games? Dude, you are missing out. Oh my gosh, the levels. Yo, I probably have to play that for you guys one day because the Crash Bandicoot games were so much stinking fun. The level designs, the your little basic abilities, like Crash. When it came to those chasing, those boulder chasing levels and Crash's expressions, that was so much fun and it was so funny. Oh my gosh, like Crash Bandicoot takes the cake when it comes to some of the comedic, iconic level designs and everything. Oh my gosh, you've got to, if you emulate any of the PlayStation games, please emulate the original PlayStation and play Crash Bandicoot because Crash Bandicoot is so much stinking fun. Crash is very fun but hard. Yeah, sometimes, like, I'm not gonna lie, homie, sometimes the Crash Bandicoot video games did get pretty hard, but that was also part of the fun of beating those games because, like, they really gave you that challenge, that oomph. They gave you some of that they gave you some of that excitement, and that's what I really love about it. Like, the Crash Bandicoot games were just, oh my gosh, they were some of the greatest games of all time when it came to, like, platforming. I got a PlayStation because I saw my classmates play in Final Fantasy IX once, and it was love at first sight. Really? So that's why, oh wow, that's why you got the original PlayStation back in the day. What other games did you play on the original PlayStation? So I stated with Final Fantasies. Started with Final Fantasies, and I then played some other RPGs, but I do remember some other great games, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. Yeah, I've only heard of those games, but I never played those, and I definitely think that, you know, those have carried over in terms of conversations, because I do see whenever I've been on, like, some subreddits and everything discussing the original PlayStation, Legacy of Kain and Soul Reaver come up in conversations, as well as Chrono Trigger. I think Chrono Trigger was more so Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and then of course they, like, sometimes bring up Chrono Cross, which was the sequel to that for the original PlayStation. Let's see if my phone can run 4K games. The Switch could too. Oh wait, the phones can run 4K games? I mean, I don't play mobile games, so I wouldn't know anything about that. I wouldn't put it past mobile technology to be able to render 4K textures, but I can definitely, like, 4K games, that I did not know. You can emulate up to 7th gen consoles on the Steam Decks? Really? You can? It's just really laggy? Okay, yo, I definitely got to check that out then. So you should play Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. I definitely got to get that. Like, I've got to get that at some point for sure, because I do want to play the Lego Star Wars video games and share that with you guys. The Lego video games are super fun. They're so funny. I love that. Wistful look at new Pokemon Snap. Looks gorgeous and runs smoothly. Are you talking about the one that released a few years ago? Maybe really laggy was an exaggeration. See, but the Switch games definitely doesn't have the power to hold open world games at today's standards. Yeah, like, I'm kind of surprised that Skyrim kind of runs on it, but of course they kind of, like, had to dumb it down a little bit in terms of graphics capabilities. But yeah, like, when I tell you, we had some games, man. I could rattle off so many games for the original PlayStation. Like I said, I listed the original 3 Crash Bandicoot games, the original 3 Spyro games, Ape Escape. They had the Tekken video games, so Tekken 2, and Tekken 3. They had Battle Arena Toshinden, Battle Arena Toshinden 2, and Battle Arena Toshinden 3, even though I only played the first one. That one was really great. They had the Gran Turismo games for all the racers. They had Wipeout. What were some of the other games they had? Buzz Light, not Buzz Lightyear Star Command, but they did have that. What I'm thinking of is Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear Star Command. That one was, oh my gosh, talk about a platformer that was really fun. I only played the demo, but when I tell you that demo, I ran into the ground. It was so much fun. They had Pac-Man World 20th Anniversary, which I played the demo of, and that one, oh my gosh, man. I played that game into the ground as well. The original Spider-Man, played that game into the ground. We had what was it? Omega Boost, which was sort of like Gundam. But oh my gosh, what I tell you, we had so many great games. Metal Gear Solid VR Missions. I only played the demo of it. Play that into the ground. Let's see what else was there. I'm going down this trip of memory lane. Yes, Pac-Man, and they did the recent re-release of the Pac-Man World video games for the Nintendo Switch, and it warmed my heart when you guys told me about it. You and Plushie and everybody, like, oh my gosh, it warmed my heart so much to hear about that. Parappa the Rapper, iconic video game. The Cool Borders video games. They had the Tony Hawk video games that swept the nation when it came to sports games. It was just amazing. Everybody loved Tony Hawk. Skateboarding was at an all-time high for popularity in the 90s, and it was so stinking cool, and everybody loved it and was getting into it, and it was just an amazing time for us all. And then, of course, we had Matt Hoffman Pro BMX video games for those of us that were into biking and everything, and that was kind of like to rival the Tony Hawk video games, and those were so much fun. We had Jet Moto, which was a really great, really fun racing game as well. We had so many great titles. I can name off all of these games coming off of, and I've had, like I said, this is mostly because I've had such a deep relationship with the PlayStation console, because I had the PlayStation a little bit longer. Well, not a little bit, a few years longer than the original, than the Nintendo 64. And then we also had the catalogs of games just kind of coming out. So many more games coming out. I think the original PlayStation had more games than the Nintendo 64, and it was just, oh my gosh, it was so iconic. So many iconic things. Man, all the nostalgia. I know, man, it just makes us want to go back. It makes us want to go back, man. Oh, guys, I'm going to check out how much it is on CD Keys. Yeah, definitely check them out, man. You definitely got to check out how much those games are. Yo, Lorenzo, my man, welcome back to the stream. How's it going? Hopefully you're having a really awesome day, my man. What's going on? Nintendo 64 once. I'm not mad at you, my man. Which games on the Nintendo 64 do you think beat out the PlayStation catalog, and why? Send you the website I use in prices for Deluxe and Galactica. Yeah, you really appreciate you, my man. Galactica is better than Deluxe. Yeah, we had so many of the classic games come to the original PlayStation as well, which was the Namco Museum video games, and I played Galactica and Galaxia and I forget the something pole position, and we had Dig Dug. And so many other iconic video games as well. I didn't get a Sony PlayStation until the PlayStation 4. A Sony console. Really? Wow. Oh my gosh. Komi, you missed out on a lot of iconic PlayStation games, dude. You have got to go back. If you can get your hands on a PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3, dude, do it. Because, oh my gosh, its catalog of video games was insane. Yo, Plushie, my man, welcome back to the stream. How's it going? Hopefully you're having a really awesome day, my man. What's going on? Honestly, I feel PlayStation 2 outdid GameCube. I'm not gonna lie, as much as because I was going back and forth between GameCube and PlayStation 2, and I didn't have much of a relationship with the original Xbox, but I'm gonna have to definitely get into the Xbox. It was so hard because the PlayStation 2's console, catalog, man, it was so good. But then the GameCube's catalog as well, they came with, the GameCube is definitely one of the most underrated video game consoles of all time, when I tell you. And that's going to be our next Just Chatting stream topic. GameCube, which one was the best of the 6th generation consoles? GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox, or the forgotten, unsung sixth generation console, which was actually the first 6th generation console to release, the Sega Dreamcast, which honestly is criminally underrated. Oh my gosh, we're gonna save that for the next one. We're gonna save that for the next one, man. We're gonna save that one for that stream. Okay, we're gonna save that for that stream. Honestly, I do have both the PlayStation and PlayStation 2 that I got from a garage sale. Invest in that. Invest in it. Get into that, because when I tell you those games were just absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh. Comey, if you can find them, definitely get into that. Please find you some games on eBay. Find you some games to emulate. Find you some games in your local retro gaming store. Find whatever you can, my man. I'm telling you, Super Mario 64, because it's a little better than Crash Bandicoot for the PlayStation. I'm not mad at that. You know, Super Mario 64 was definitely an iconic game. I only played a little bit of it before, but I can definitely tell you, it is definitely it's amazing. And I have to say, Crash Bandicoot, oh my gosh. Oh, that was an experience. I don't know. I can't really say. I have to say probably Crash Bandicoot, probably one between those two. I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, that's hard. That's so hard. But that's also kind of a little bit of a nostalgia bias, because I don't have much experience with Super Mario 64, but I can definitely say Crash Bandicoot. I played some Crash Bandicoot. man. Let me tell you, PlayStation 2 has the best era of Sony in video gaming. Honestly, because of course they have Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2. You know what I mean? Like that alone, we just had that. Come on, man. That's all I needed to say. And the platformers, let me save that for PlayStation 2. Feels that I suggest chat like this. Yeah, and we're definitely going to be doing this a lot more. Dude. I want to be able to like just chat with you guys about stuff like this and like have these conversations and stuff, which is why I wanted to, you know, do a stream like this, and I'm really glad I did, because it just feels great to get back into it. I still have a PS2. Same here, Plushie. Which games are your favorite on their PlayStation 2? He's King Kenneth, not Uncle. Hey, he's both King and Uncle Kenneth here. Let's see, Xbox was okay, but still mostly Halo. I did not play anything else in that console. Yeah, I heard that Halo was just like really the flagship video game for that. But I can say that, what was that other game? Fusion Frenzy? I heard that one was really good. And then, of course, they did Jet Set Future Radio or something like that. And that one was really cool from what I heard. GameCube was top tier. Thank you, Wistful. Honestly, GameCube was top tier. Dreamcast, yes, super underrated. Thank you. Yes, Kenneth, yes. Shenmue and Skies for Arcadia. I've seen a little bit of the Shenmue gameplay. I've seen a little bit of Skies for Arcadia gameplay. Honestly, I want to play those and get into those, man. Oh, man. See, it's either me or Stream First. Oh, it's on your end because I don't have any lag frames or anything. Try restarting and refreshing. So you got my PlayStation 2 from a flea market. Yes. They gave me a 50% discount because I beat them at Smash. Really? That's crazy. Yo, that's a really great way to get a discount as well. Like, play video games for video games. Come on, man. Come on. That is amazing. Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, though. Honestly, like, they kind of flew off a little bit with some of the level designs and all, with like that running away from that orca, that killer whale on the very first level. That one was a little bit hard sometimes, and sometimes the glitching was crazy, but I do have to say that was still a fun experience despite the glitches and everything. I still play. Yes, Battle for SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for the Bikini Bottom. Yes, Plushy W, man. That one was a really good one. I have to say, oh my gosh, that was a really great time. That was a really great experience. That was one of the greatest platformers for the GameCube, in my opinion, as well. One of the greatest GameCube games as well. For me, I never had a Nintendo 64 growing up. We just went from Super Nintendo to GameCube, and we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so getting a new gaming console was a treasure. Yeah, same here. Like, and that's something that a lot of people don't factor in, is that some of the gamers didn't have a lot of money like that. But when we did get those consoles, we played the heck out of the games that we had, and we just really developed deep relationships with family and friends based on those games, and we definitely got into it more and more and more. And we treasured the games we had, and the replayability value of those video games back then, because they were so good, and the creativity was there, the imagination was there, the effort, oh my gosh, the love. You could tell these people really loved making video games. And it wasn't just getting money. It wasn't cash grab. It wasn't chasing on to these trends. It wasn't, going for what the other companies are doing. Like, of course you saw what the competition was doing, but you came back in your own way. That's what made video games feel alive back then. And that's what we had. Yes, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Yes, I'm so glad we have such a common love for that one, honestly. Skies of Arcadia is like a Final Fantasy game. Very fun, but insane enemy battle encounter rate. See, I gotta play that. I gotta, because I do have a Dreamcast emulator. So I'm definitely going to get into like retro games for you guys, because I want to be able to like dive into the retro games and play and enjoy these things with you guys and have some fun with you guys with that. Didn't they remaster that recently? Yes, they did. They did. It's called SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Oh my gosh, I haven't played the rehydrated one, but the textures, like, the game looks beautiful. But I can tell you, that was definitely one of the funnest games of all time, and it was absolutely a great and amazing experience. See, my favorite Nintendo 64 games, single player, Paper Mario. Oh, yes, Paper Mario. See, I played it on emulator before, like, but I never beat it. But I did beat Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. That one was really good. Multiplayer Mario Party 3. Yeah, Mario Party games were really fun. Mario Party 3 was really good. I played briefly at a friend's house before when I was little, and I can tell you Mario Party 3 was absolutely amazing. My favorite PlayStation, original PlayStation games, single player, Final Fantasy 9. Not bad at that. Multiplayer. Wait, Final Fantasy 9 had multiplayer too? Oh, were you talking about in terms of like the Chocobo racing and stuff? Because I know they had Chocobo racing and what do you call it? Final Fantasy 7. All right, let's see. Anyways, gotta go. See you later, Frosty. All right, see you later. What's up with my man? God bless you. Take care. Stay safe. As always, you're awesome, buddy. Peace. Have a great one, and we'll see you later. I hope you enjoy the stream, buddy, and I hope you have a really awesome, wonderful, and blessed day. God bless you, buddy. Take care. Skies of Arcadia was remade for the GameCube. Yes, I did see that also being remade for the GameCube, and I've seen it in game stores, but I never picked it up before. And like of course, like when you're little, you window shop in some games. We can't like get all the games, like you window shop and like just really get into it. Oh my gosh, like I really wanted to dive into so many games. Frosty should play Rayman. Yo, I played the original Rayman, and I played a little bit of Rayman 2. When I tell you, it was insane back then. Oh my gosh. But I mean, I could definitely play some Rayman. See, most people don't know it, but Final Fantasy IX was a multiplayer game. Really, you could assign part of your party to the second controller, and two people could battle controller the party. Thank you for letting me know, Kenneth, because honestly, my brother, that's his favorite Final Fantasy game. That's one thing. He doesn't even know you, Kenneth, and he likes you solely based off the strength of Final Fantasy IX. Like you two loving Final Fantasy IX, and when I tell you that, what do you call it? He loves the heck out of that game. Like, that's his favorite Final Fantasy game of all time. That is his favorite Final Fantasy game of all time. So, and I told him one day I'm going to be streaming it, and he told me he's going to be in the stream coaching me through it because he's not missing out on Final Fantasy IX at all. Like, at all. See, it was only in battle though. Yeah, because like I can imagine, because like you have at least like just one character in the overworld, and of course you're traveling as each character in relation to whose story and perspective you're playing at the time. You need to collab with your brother sometime. It's funny you say that, because like on the Abridged Saga, like I said, I am still editing that video. We're actually, like, I collabed with my brother and a friend of mine, and that video should be up, I think, if not by next month, the month after, because I'm still doing some editing and cleaning up the audio and playing through it to make sure everything's really good. I've had some things going in my personal life, nothing bad, but just kind of like so many things that kept me busy from editing. But now that I'm getting back into the editing more consistently, and I've been doing that lately, I'm definitely going to be uploading that sometime next month. It'll be uploaded within the next 5 years. Hold me to it. It should be next month. That, and I want to find the best footage for these games that can like be represented and everything. I want to find the best footage that I can for these games so you guys can see. Oh wait, I kind of gave a spoiler. Dang, man. I mean, I did tell you guys what it was about before, but I'm not gonna do that too much. Common Frosty Brother W, yes sir. Common W for us, man. I mean, when you're related to me, when you share my blood, you gotta have a W. You know what I'm saying? But man, I'm telling you, like the games were just absolutely amazing, man. What were some other PlayStation games? Beast Wars Transformers. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love the Beast Wars TV show growing up. And it's still by far my favorite Transformers of all time. And then tell me why on TikTok, either yesterday or the day before, I see the new Transformers movies with Beast Wars. With the Beast Wars. I'm like, the Beast Wars Transformers? I see the Maximals, I see the Predacons, and they even show the Maximal and Predacon icons in the trailer as well. I'm like, no, they have Optimus Primal, they have Cheetor, bro. Tell me if they don't have Dinobot. They had Rhinox. I saw my Eagle girl. I forget the Eagle's name, the Falcon's name. I think Falcona or Falcon is something. But if they don't have my boy Dinobot, I'm gonna have a problem. They have to have what do you call it? Pterosaur. Oh my gosh, Pterosaur. They have to have him. They have to have Scorponok. They have to have well, what was the ant's name? The ant's name Inferno is in something. They had Tarantulas. I hate the mess out of Tarantulas, but Tarantulas is such a good villain. And being able to play that game, oh my gosh. My boy Rat Trap, my boy Tigatron, Millennium Falcon. Yo, that would be crazy. Oh, speaking of which, there is a PlayStation game, Star Wars PlayStation game that people hated, but I love it, and I'm going to touch on it, and I don't care. It's a great fighting game in my opinion. I don't care. But man, that had me so hyped for it. Oh my gosh. But the Beast Wars Transformers video game, great platforming video. Well, no, it was an action adventure. I think it was sort of platforming, but action adventure game. Really fun. I know that, simple in design, but that's all you needed back then. It was simple. It was nice. It was simple. It was great. It was such an amazing time. And like, I honestly appreciated that about it. It was so great. Oh my gosh. And then, what was it? Millennium Falcon. Yeah. Star Wars Masters of Terras Kasi. That game has such a bad rap. Has such a horrible reputation. I've only played the demo, and I still love the game. I don't care. One of my favorite games for the PlayStation. I don't care. I know I can't base a whole opinion on that because I played the demo, but I don't care. One of the funnest. When I tell you, you can only play as either Luke Skywalker or Arden Lin. And when I tell you I enjoy the mess out of that game, it was so much fun. Don't care. See, at work this week, we had someone come in from out of town to train people, and he and I got to talking about all kinds of gaming stuff. Ooh, which kind? Like, how far back in gaming history did you guys go? Because I love having that kind of relationship with people where we just talk about the games of yesteryear and really reminisce on how great some of those games were, and like be able to form new friendships on old games like that. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It can't be worse than the sequels. Are you talking about the sequel Star Wars video games, like back in the original Nintendo days to modern gaming? Yes. Oh man, I'm telling you, man, we can connect on stuff like that. It just makes everything much better. Yo, Zip, my man, welcome back to the stream. How's it going? Hopefully you're having a really awesome day, my man. What's going on? Honestly, when it comes to the whole catalog of original PlayStation games, in terms of quantity, because like, let's just be honest here. Between the original PlayStation and the Nintendo 64, both of these consoles came with so much quality. They came with really great, like, it doesn't matter if it was just a handful of video games or like a massive list of video games. Both of them brought so many amazing, wonderful, beautiful, creative memories that will last us a lifetime. I will be old and gray talking to my great grandchildren about how amazing these games are and how they need to dive into these. Lord willing that those consoles still work during that time. But, like, in terms of the list of games that I've been exposed to personally, I'd have to say that in terms of quantity, because they both came with quality. When it came to quantity, I think that the original PlayStation won that one because there were so many other games to my knowledge, that had more, I think, recognition. Because you really, when it comes to Nintendo, you think more so of the flagship video games. But even though we had more, and you know what, and I think I have to be fair. Also, have to, because it just came to mind right now. I have to be fair. The original PlayStation had just come out at that time. Nintendo, since the original Nintendo had the same games as Comey listed off earlier, that continued to be the flagship titles. You had Super Mario Brothers. You had The Legend of Zelda. You had Pokemon. You had, let's see, I'm looking to the side. You had Kirby. You had Donkey Kong. If I didn't say Donkey Kong earlier. You know, you had those games. And those continued to go forward. But when it came to the original PlayStation, we didn't have really many flagship games because it just came out for the 5th generation. Like the 5th generation, it had just come out at that time. So you can afford to kind of look at more games and try to figure out which ones were flagship titles. So I think PlayStation has the advantage there when having this conversation between which games were better, which console had more memorable games, which console had more games that you can kind of list off a little bit more between the original PlayStation and the Nintendo 64. And I honestly think that plays a huge part of the advantage, is that you were just kind of like grabbing whatever. You were grabbing, like, even though you experimented and got games that you thought were really interesting on the Nintendo 64, everybody knew Mario. Everybody knew Legend of Zelda, Donkey Kong. We know Kirby. We know a few other games. Let's see, what were some of the other ones that you know so many other of those games that were made by Nintendo. But Sony had just entered the scene at the time, and then you're seeing all these really cool looking games, next level graphics that are, you know, being formed into more realistic models in some way. So these are like state of the art graphics at the time, with newer technology pushing the boundaries, pushing the limits, some of them for more mature audiences. So there's more of a grab. There's more, like, people are like opening up the floodgates to like this new medium of consoles, and you're kind of grabbing. So I think PlayStation, the original PlayStation, actually has a little bit more of an advantage when having this conversation, and I did not factor that in. I did not think of that before starting this stream. So I can definitely say that, you know, it had the upper edge, the upper hand, being the new guy, and then seeing so many of those games. Oh, and the Mortal Kombat games? Oh my gosh, bro. I'll say this. The Mortal Kombat trilogy on the original PlayStation was better than the one on Nintendo 64. I love Nintendo 64. But I think the Mortal Kombat trilogy on the original PlayStation beats the Nintendo 64 version, hands down. No discussion. No discussion. No argument needed. Oh my gosh. They were just... It was iconic. Iconic. Whenever somebody thinks of that one, they think of that on the... They think of that on the scale of the original PlayStation. They think of the original PlayStation and not so much the Nintendo 64 version, unless that's what they grew up on with that console. But oh my gosh, it was just so much. It was so much, man. So much to like really grab onto and dive into. And honestly, it was so much fun. Oh, so many great games, man. And guys, with that, because we are going to be playing Among Us as requested, because I did promise you guys that, and I do want to live up to my promises to you guys, because I hate not being able to fulfill my promises. We are going to end the stream here, and we are going to bring this back next week. We're going to continue this conversation next week, and we're going to have some fun with it. And I want to thank you guys so much for going down this trip of memory lane with me. and just having fun and connecting and being able to like just kind of chill and talk about this stuff. And I'm so glad you guys had fun connecting on you know, the beauty of retro games and traveling back to yesteryear and just chilling and actually having like just us having a conversation. I want to be able to have more just chatting streams and be able to converse with you guys and talk it out a little bit more. Like I need to, you know, get a little bit more experienced in life a little bit more, but I want to find some more commonalities with you guys and talk to you guys and stuff like that and chill. But thank you guys so much for chilling with me. Great stream, Frosty. Have a great day. You too as well, Comey, my man. God bless you, dude. Take care. Stay safe. And as always, stay awesome, buddy. Peace. Have a great one. We'll see you later. And like I said, we're gonna pick this stream back up next week. Let's see. Sequel trilogy for Star Wars movies. Gotcha, my man. Still try to 100% Star Wars Skywalker saga. Yes, you're trying your best not to say try. Yeah, I'm trying my best to not just, you know, love it to part. Like I'm doing my best here. But Frosty, so many years left. Don't worry, man. We're coming back with this conversation, and then we're going to lead into the 6th generation of consoles, because I know that's where you guys really started with gaming. But I'll see you guys in the